Question 22. The method of completing the square was used to solve the equation 2x squared minus 12x plus 6 equals 0. Which equation is a correct step when using this method? So it's not saying what's the next step, what's the first step, but you just kind of have to go about solving this using complete the square and see which one of these comes up along the way. So let's just start solving this using complete the square. I've got 2x squared minus 12x plus 6 equals 0. Now I'm thinking of completing the square, so usually the first thing you want to do is get rid of that constant, but I also see a GCF that I can pull out from everybody. I can divide out a 2 over here. So I'm going to do that. Let's divide out that 2, and now I'll get an x squared minus 6x plus 3 equals 0. And this is a bit of a tough one. So it's really going to work out a lot better, actually, if instead of having this 2 over here, I can't do my complete the square in the parentheses with this over here. So what I'm actually going to do is I've got equal to 0. I want to get rid of this 2 entirely. I can use my properties of equality, my inverse operations, to say, well, I'll divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2, it cancels out. So I'm left with x squared minus 6x plus 3. And then 0 divided by 2, as long as I do the same thing to both sides, it'll always be equal. Well, 0 divided by 2 is just 0. Nothing changed over there. So I was able to kind of cancel that 2 out entirely, not even just GCF factoring it out of there. Now let's start completing the square. I'm going to move my constant over to the other side. I get x squared minus 6x equals negative 3. Now your next step is you gotta play bop it, which is half it, square it, add it. So the it, by the way, is your next term. I forgot to put the x there, is your b term. So I'm going to get half of 6. That's 3, or I guess technically negative 3. Then I'm going to square that. Well, now that's just going to become positive 9 no matter what. And I'm going to add that to both sides. So now I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals negative 3 plus 9 is positive 6. And now I can play my diamond game here. I know it's always going to come up with a square. Two numbers that multiply to 9 and add to negative 6. Well, 3 times 3 gets me 9, but 3 plus 3 is positive 6. If I try negative 3 times negative 3, that's going to be it. So I get x minus 3. X minus 3 equals 6. And I continue from here. Well, x minus 3 times x minus 3, it's really x minus 3 squared equals 6. That should be my answer. So which step along the way, it's actually asking for the final answer of the whole problem. Let's see if that matches with one of the multiple choice answers. And indeed it does, right over there. Answer choice 1. X minus 3 squared equals 6. That one's kind of rough.